What up guys, this is the Power Up Mushroom. I'm coming to you guys with a video. This video I just kinda, okay fine, my bubble's bursting. It's kinda like my anger's leaking out. Just on DLC, I can't take it anymore. It's just too much. DLC back then, really what it was is, it's nothing like it was today. Like, DLC wasn't something that developers were developing alongside your games. Like now you have EA on EA Infinity Ward, almost everything, like the big first-person shooting games, and like just a bunch of people. It's like they're cutting out the parts of the games that are supposed to be released with the game, and they're just selling it later on as add-on packs, including your fighting games, Capcom and NetherRealms. I'm looking at you guys. You got to stop that, all right? NetherRealms, I expect more from you, but like, God, just in the fact that NetherRealms and Capcom, they start cutting out fighters that are completely functional, fighters that are on the game disc, but you have to pay $5 or something, and then you can unlock stuff. This happened with Street Fighter X Tekken. I think it was Street Fighter 4. You know, a bunch of Capcom games. Like, you just, the fighters are there. You bought them, but you have to pay extra for them. NetherRealm, Injustice 2, when you do that stupid season pass thing, you already have fighters in the campaign that you can play as. Then they're not on the core fighting list for online or whatever. They're playable. That's it. Like, you gotta stop that. You just cut out a piece of the game, and that's my biggest problem. Is that now developers, they're starting to develop games, and now like when they're developing them, they're developing DLC alongside the game, and I think that's hurting the gaming industry, specifically the games that are being made. For one reason, like, you're making a game and you know it's going smoothly, and then all of a sudden you guys get the idea, oh yeah, let's do a season pass. All right, development team, we're gonna cut you in half. You guys go work on DLC. You guys stay on the main game. All of a sudden your manpower is cut in half, and that game is going to be released broken. It's not going to release functional. Not only that, you're going to announce a season pass that's going to come with DLC a month later, when really that DLC could have been released with the game. Not only that, like I said, in fighting games, sometimes you're starting to have those fighting games where you already have the characters playable characters in the game. You just have to pay $5 to unlock it. That's stupid. That is ridiculous, because it just shows how greedy you're getting. You're cutting our games in half, and really the games they're not good anymore. I mean, not that they're not good anymore, but they're just not as good anymore. One game, I guess I straight up, I know for a fact that it failed, was Fallout 4. Fallout 4, probably one of my most anticipated games. Like, I think it was like 2 years ago or something. I don't know when it was released, but it was around there. The game came with the season pass. You know, you could buy the season pass for like 15 bucks at the time. Of course, I jumped on that. But Fallout 4, the core game, it wasn't finished. There was bugs. There was, granted, I still had a great experience, but once you were done with the story or the side quest, there was nothing to do. There was no like major side quests or anything. Nothing you can go like explore like these major things and get a big payoff of, like you could in Skyrim or something, or Fallout 3 or New Vegas. It didn't feel right. Now, when the DLC's all released, like since I think it was like maybe a few months ago or like 7 months ago, or whatever, I played the game. The game feels overall, it's a better game, and I feel like the game should have been released that way. I feel kind of gypped that I hawked over, like, you know, the $5 or the $15. And it just sucks. Now there are some instances where games are coming with some really good DLCs, but before I get into that, let me just show you some games that just overall they had the budget, and they just failed. Like, in just every way they failed, and was later released as DLC. But not only that, but expensive DLC. The people who can be like, or held responsible for all this DLC nonsense, is none other than EA. Now, EA is probably one of the biggest DLC money hogging people like out there, and I refuse. I will not pay for a season pass at full price. One of the ones that pissed me off was when EA announced Star Wars Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront probably should have been released the way it is now with all its season pass glory. By the way, season pass for Battlefront 1, it's free. Download it now before it goes off, like, out of sale. But when the game was released, it was released with 4 maps. 4 maps with no space battles, no Death Star, everything that was like the stapling franchise iconic things that were part of the Star Wars universe, that wasn't in there. You had to pay extra money for that. It was like $50. That was $110. This is not a $110 game. No. Battlefield 1. Okay, Battlefield 1, decent, like, it's a pretty decent game, alright? But DLC, again, I'm not going to pay $120 for everything on it. I'm not going to do it. Not to mention, when the DLC becomes free later on, I'll just wait for that time, because then it'll be a better experience. But I wasn't going to pay for DLC for Battlefront 1. I just can't do it. I want you guys to look at this. These are 3 versions of Destiny. I have the regular vanilla version of Destiny over there, but let me tell you guys, you can get that game for like $3, but it's not really, you're going to miss out on everything. It's not even a full game. I'm going to tell you what, Destiny should have probably been released like this, The Taken King, or better yet, like this, the collection. My problem with this was, Destiny, $500 million went into development for that vanilla piece of crap. That piece of crap was $500 million in development. Can you believe that? Like, what the heck? Where did all that money go? DLC. So what happened was, you could get the expansion pass and you could pay $20 for 2 expansion passes, but then you get gypped for the 3rd expansion pass because that was $60, including the core game and the 2 expansion passes. Well, people who fell for it, they paid $60 for the original Destiny game, the 2 expansion passes, and this. Still a piece of crap, I think. Then, if you thought that you could get, any more money's worth of it, check this out. So you got, if you pay for this one, you have to repay another $60 for Destiny Expansion Pass 1, Expansion Pass 2, The Taken King, and then Rise of Iron. That's another $60. That was $120, $140. That's a $200 game. Destiny $60, the expansion pass is $20. Taken King, let's just say, hold up. Destiny $60, expansion pass, that's $80. Taken King, that's $120. Another $60, that's $180. Let's just say tax, $200. Whatever, screw it. And then Destiny 2. Overall, it's not a bad game. I do think it's better than the original core Destiny game. Yeah, but overall, it could have just been released as DLC. So, and really, that's what it feels like. It feels like you bought DLC. So if anything, at $60, let's just say this part of Destiny 1, it pretty much is $240 for the entire Destiny collection. Like, really? Like, you gotta be kidding me. Now, back then there were some games out there that back then they were called expansion packs, add-on packs. They were called packs, not DLC. Packs are what you expand upon the game and the better parts of the game. Games like Halo 3, you didn't need anything. You didn't need any game or any expansions for that, but they added more maps. Granted, the maps were way better, they were cool, and they were priced reasonably. Thank you, Bungie. BioShock Infinite. I haven't played all the DLC, but from friends and everybody I've heard who have played this game and the expansion passes, the core game is fine, but the expansion passes, they just expand on the game and make it a lot better. I have a friend who has played Just Cause 3 almost the entire game, and he's lost so many hours into it on the core game. He paid for the extra DLC content, or basically an expansion pack. That's what I will call worthy DLC, is expansion packs, if they are really that good. And he said they adds a whole new map and a whole nother terrain. It's almost like a completely new game. That's good. These are newer games, by the way. Here's one, LA Noire. Probably a really good core game, but the expansion packs did it justice. Gave more. Expansion packs that added more to the games later on is when games like Gears of War. Gears of War 2 with its expansion pack was really good. And then Gears of War 3 happened. You had I think it was Revenge of Rom or something, if I remember correctly, for Gears of War 3. And let me tell you that expansion pack was awesome. It was decently priced, and it felt like it was worth it. Games that were released complete at the time, and you didn't know if they were going to get expansion packs, because there's no season passes. Developers, like I said, they just kind of said, oh yeah, we'll make more content for it because it was really popular and people really like it. And it kept the play value going. Games like Bethesda back then, when you released Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3, at the time, at its core, at the core, these games are just phenomenal. And then the expansion packs, One of my favorite ones is I think it was the Fallout New Vegas. It was the Courier DLC. That was like one of the best expansion packs that they could have ever released, because it was a whole new area, and that's what these games did. They added new areas to the game, and even their Game of the Year editions, they added all this stuff into it, and for $30 you could pick it up, and it was just overall it was a fantastic experience. You got more out of the game, and now is the best part. Now you're getting games like you're getting games like Injustice, where you don't get everything you paid for. They're announcing DLC beforehand, and it's just like you're cutting pieces out of the game, and I don't get to play it. Like, I have to wait a month and then I can play it. Yeah, that's bullcrap, because we all know that within a month or so the DLC is already ready. They're just waiting for it to like flip the switch and put it on the market. That's all they're doing. That really is all they're doing. And really, sometimes DLC is better than the core game. Sometimes the DLC is essential to get the full experience of the game. And that's hurting our games. Like, games are no longer really, you know what? Games are no longer complete now. Now you're getting the shell of a game that could be awesome, but you're just not going to get it. You have to pay extra money for it. And that sucks. That's dirty. As if $60 wasn't enough. Let me just tell you guys that if the developers, if they released games complete with all the DLC that they're already developing alongside the game, so automatically, like I said, the DLC is part of the game now. That's what it is. They're just cutting it out. If developers took a month or two, because really, now all it takes is for a game to be released, and then a month later DLC comes out for it. If the developers waited a month prior to release and put that content in the game, you could have an overall better game and a better replay value of the game. That's why games like Fallout 4 or Destiny, Battlefield 1, specifically Battlefield 1, the player base just shot down because there was no content. It's just like nobody's getting the full experience to these games, and that sucks. Because these games are amazing, but they're not worth $200. They're not worth $120. They're not worth all that DLC add-on. It's not worth getting that game cut in half. And the best part is, like, what I like is that now people are starting to catch on to this disgusting practice and, like, speak with their wallet, guys. There's no need to jump on board and say, oh, I gotta pre-order this DLC, I gotta play it, I gotta stream it if it's gonna make you famous. No. You don't need to do that. You gotta stop paying for this bull crap. Really, it's crap. It's a bunch of crap. Because, like, games like Battlefield 1, like, when they release DLC like that, it's cutting the player base in half. Like, all of a sudden you have these people who bought the DLC and people who didn't. People are gonna be playing all the new maps, and then the people who, like, you know, just bought the core game, they didn't buy the DLC, they're missing out on probably something that's really cool. Star Wars Battlefront, there are people who missed out on the Death Star. The Death Star, like, really, the Death Star, something that should be in Star Wars, they missed out on it. That is why I'm like, good conscience, I did not buy Star Wars Battlefront 2. Not Battlefront 2, but Battlefront 1. I didn't buy it. Because when I saw my cousin buy it, there was only 4 maps. I'm not going to pay $60 and then $50 DLC. Like, come on. I'm not going to pay that much for a game. It's ridiculous. Especially when you know that this stuff is already complete and it's not in the game. They're just waiting for you to, like, just hand them money and just pay for it. Overall, it's like a cheeseburger. It's just like, kind of like if I went to a cheeseburger or like McDonald's or something and they say, oh yeah, here's a bun, which is basically the shell of the game. Then they tell me, oh, you want the meat, cheese, pickles, tomato, pickles, and the mustard and pickles and ketchup and pickles. Well, yeah, that's going to be an extra $10. By the way, did you hear about the combo meal? Well, $20. We'll give you a drink and a fry. It's a small fry, by the way. If you want the large, that includes some microtransactions. Yeah. That's what it's like. Because all we're getting now are just these shells of a game that could be really amazing. And really, overall, it's eventually the publishers like Activision or like the developers maybe that they just want more money. They're trying to squeeze every dollar out of it. And eventually this is going to catch up to them. It's going to come and bite them in the butt. But right now, it's kind of ticking me off to the point where, yeah, I'm not a fan of DLC. I don't feel like buying. I'm not going to buy into that crap. There are some good DLC, and if the game is worthy of it, then I'll buy it. But in order for the game to be worthy, the game has to be a complete game and has to be something that's good and innovative. Like games like The Witcher 3, I've heard from my friend, it's a fantastic game, core game. I still haven't played it yet, but I mean, he said the DLC, the DLC doesn't need to be there. The game is fantastic as is. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, fantastic game by itself. Don't need the DLC, but I will gladly pay for extra stuff because the game is so good. Then you get games like Destiny or Battlefield or something like that, where you have the shell of the game, and it's just kind of like it's basically like a demo. And then the publisher say, yeah, for the rest of the game, here you go, $50. I'm just not buying into it. But anyways, that really is my rant on DLC. Like I said, back then, kids, used to be called expansion packs. Now it's DLC. I kind of wish expansion packs, I think it had more of a ring to it because it was kind of like expansion packs, and then it just felt like the games were better quality at the time. But who knows? Maybe maybe eventually, like, developers are starting to catch on. Hopefully that happens and they stop doing what they're doing. But if people keep on paying for it, it's not going to stop. That's guaranteed. But anyways, that's it for this video. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, upvote if you're watching on Vidme. And if you guys like what you see here, remember to click that subscribe button. Please. Come on. I know you do. Yeah, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's going to appear right here or right here. I think it should probably be right here. So hopefully it hits right there. But overall, guys, thank you guys for watching. And remember, guys, when you guys are gaming, power up.